Let's build a WhatsApp chatbot with N8N. We're going to build this workflow, which allows us to talk to ChatGPT through WhatsApp. It can answer simple questions like pineapple on pizza, yes or no. It can search the web to give you up-to-date answers. What is OpenAI's latest model? It has a small memory and can remember conversations. My hobby is traveling. What is my hobby? And you can even personalize it. For instance, reply only in corporate jargon. What is the meaning of life? And we'll go step by step and I'll show you how to build this workflow in N8N. If you're new to my channel, my name is Catalin and I teach you how to work with AI and automation. If you're interested in finding out more, check out my community over at school.com/bottribe and sign up for more tutorials and complete courses on N8N and AI automation. Before we get started, if you don't have an N8N account and want to quickly get started playing around with it, go to n8n.io and sign up for a free 2-week trial. That will get you started for free, and if you're serious about automation, over on my community I have a tutorial on how you can get N8N for free forever. So with that out of the way, let's go build our WhatsApp chatbot. Okay, so let's get started. Now we're here in N8N, but we're not going to start here. The first thing we need to do is we need to set up Facebook so that we can use their services to communicate back and forth, right? So the first thing we need to go to business.facebook.com and you need to create a business there, right? You would have an option here to create a new business, so go ahead and do that. It's very straightforward. Once you have that business, we need to go to developers.facebook.com/apps. And of course, all these links are going to be in the description. So here, let's go ahead and create a new app and we're going to have an app name. So here we're going to call it something like N8N Assistant. Go ahead and click next. Now for the use cases, none of these use cases are going to be suitable for us. And we're going to go down to other and click on that and then click next. Now on this page, we're going to select business and click next again. And here we have a final confirmation. We have the app name, the email, and a business portfolio, the business that you created earlier. Select that and go ahead and click select app, create app. It might ask you to re-enter your password, so go ahead and do that and then submit. All right, so once we have our app set up, we have this screen and we have the option to add WhatsApp functionality to it. So go ahead and click setup on that. All right, so we're pretty much set. Now we have two types of credentials that we need for Facebook. So the first one, let's go back to our workflow and add a first step. And we're going to search for WhatsApp Business Cloud. And here, let me just increase this a little bit. Hopefully you can see that better. And we have the on message here. And we need to connect our credential. Now, of course, I have an authentication already, but let's go ahead and create a new one. And we have a client ID and client secret. So let's go back to our application under app settings, basic. We're going to have an app ID. So go ahead and copy that and paste it here. And then we have an app secret. We need to show that, copy, and then paste it here. All right, we're going to save that, connected successfully. So that's all good. And then we have our credentials. So we are all connected. All right, so that's all good. Now let's add here a node for AI. And here we're going to add an AI agent. Okay, and for this AI agent, we're going to connect a chat model. Maybe we're going to choose OpenAI. If you don't already have OpenAI credentials, go to platform.openai.com, create an account there, and you will be able to get your API key, which you can create the credential with. Okay, so once you have that, we're going to have the OpenAI chat model. We're going to leave this as is for now because we're going to go and update it in a bit. But for now, let's just go back to our Facebook settings here. And we're going to go down to WhatsApp and API setup. So we are in API setup and you need to make a note of this number, right? So this is the test number and this is the one we're going to be interacting with in order to send messages to our bot. Of course, you can add your own phone number if you want as a test number, but this will work. So make a note of this one. And then 2, make sure you add your own phone number here so that you can connect to it and send messages back and forth. Okay, so make sure you select your own number here And we're going to go ahead and generate our access token. It might ask you to reconnect your Facebook account like it did for mine. Select here, opt into all current and future WhatsApp accounts, so we don't need to reconnect to it every time, and then save. All right, so got it. And then we will have the access token. So go ahead and copy that. Let's go back to our workflow. And here we're going to add a node called WhatsApp. And we're going to have a send message. So here I already have a credential, but let's go ahead and create a new credential. So go ahead and paste that access token. And we also need the business account ID. So for that, we need to go back to Facebook, and here under app settings, under basic, we will have down below our business. So we need to copy that and then paste it under business account ID and click save. Okay, so with that done, let me just close that. It's all good. So we don't need to do anything else. We can just go ahead and test our workflow. So for now, this has a bit of a problem here. We can just remove it for now. Let me just disable it so that we can test our workflow, because that data we can get dynamically from the previous node. So let's go ahead and execute. And I have here my phone with my meta test. Okay, so meta test number on my device is going to be the number that we have here. So if I go to API setup, we have our test number. So I've registered that as meta test. Okay, so if I just send a hi message and go back to workflow, you can see that the message was received. The AI agent had a problem, but that's perfectly fine, because now, since we received that information, we can configure our AI agent. So we have a connected chat node that is wrong. We need to define below. And here we need to pass the message that the user sent us. So under messages, message 0, under text body, we have hi, and we can click and drag that box here. If you want to personalize your AI agent a little bit more, you can set a system message, and here it just says you are a helpful assistant. But if you want to personalize it for your own needs, you can do that here. So you can say something like you are an expert storyteller, or you are an expert software developer, or something like that, depending on what you are looking for. But for me, I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm going to remove the message, the system message, and just execute the step, and that should give us an output. So we have the input from the human, and we have the output from the assistant. How can I assist you? Now, once we have that, let's go ahead and enable this WhatsApp Business Cloud. And here, of course, now we have everything we need. So we need the sender phone number ID. Instead of this, I think that might be correct actually. So we have the phone number ID, but if you don't have that, let's just click and drag. So phone number ID, click and drag to here. That's all good. And then the recipient phone number ID, we're going to have the WhatsApp here. So we're going to click and drag and have it here as well, recipient phone number ID. Now for the text body, we also need to pass on the information that the agent wrote for us. And that's going to be up here in the output. So let me just close that. Output, click and drag, and we have the response. So if I execute step, now we should receive the message. So you can see that we got the message on our WhatsApp. So we can now actually communicate back and forth with WhatsApp. Now, there's a couple of things I want to add here. So first of all, at the moment, the system doesn't actually remember anything from message to message, because the AI agent by default doesn't have any memory. So let's go ahead and add a bit of memory to it. So we click on this memory node, and we're just going to add a simple memory. Simple memory just means that instead of just a single message sent to the AI agent, we send a context window of a few messages, right? So we can define that here. We have 5 messages. I usually like to put this at 10 or even 20 if I want to have a nicer, longer conversation with the AI agent. So feel free to personalize this as well. Now, in addition to this, I want to add a tool so that our AI agent can actually search the internet and give us more information. So if I click on that, and I'm going to go to SERP API. Now, SERP API is really cool because it gives us a few requests by default for free on the free tier, right? So we can just play around and test our research before we actually implement it permanently. If you don't have a SERP API account, just go to serpapi.com, create an account, you'll find your API key and you can create your credential, and that's basically all you need, right? So we have this nice workflow now where we can actually communicate. So let me just save that, let me execute, and if I go back to my screen, I can say something like, what is the latest OpenAI model? Send that. Oops, I think I didn't execute the workflow, so let me just click on that and now send the message again. And it seems like there's an error in the subnode simple memory. That's okay. Let's just go ahead and disable it for now. And we're going to check it after we go through the whole system. So let's just run it again, execute workflow and send the message again. All right, and we got the response. That is fine. Let me see what the memory issue is. So we have here the session key. Okay, so for the session ID, instead of connected, we need to define below. And here we need to pass the key from the workflow. So let's click and drag the workflow ID, and that should be fine. That should be all good. So if I save that, and then I execute the workflow and I say, hi, my name is Catalin. All right, and then if I say, what is my name? But before I send that, I'm going to execute the workflow, send the message, and then we get the response from the workflow, your name is Catalin, and that's because it had this simple memory, and we can see that it was accessed twice so that it kind of remembers information and data from our workflow. So I think that's pretty much it. We have a functional workflow that can communicate back and forth with WhatsApp, so you can use it as your personal assistant. If you want to connect other tools here, you can to give it more functionality. But for now, I think the basic functionality is there. So that's all I wanted to cover in this video. Please make sure to check out the community at school.com/bottribe. But in any case, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.